One of the most controversial concepts in all of Overwatch is definitely ELO Hell. Whether you feel like you can't climb because you can't improve or because of toxicity smurfs or your terrible teammates, ELO Hell feels real for many players. So is it real? And if it is, how do you climb out of it? Now, before we get started, if you feel like you deserve a higher rank, I want you to comment a replay code of a comp game with your hero, your in-game name, your current rank, and finally, the reason you think you deserve a higher rank, and you could be featured in a video in the future. Now, right off the bat, we have to ask where ELO Hell is at. What rank is ELO Hell in? Is it in a specific place or is it everywhere? And I would say that where you would feel ELO Hell would be different depending on the rank that you're in. You got to understand that true ELO Hell for an individual is where you can no longer hard carry to overcome the BS of ranked. Now, I think this could happen in more ranks more than others. I think gold through masters is like prime candidacy for the most amount of people stuck in quote-unquote ELO Hell, but that's not only where you could be because everyone has their own development and everyone can hard carry at different rates. But I'm not going to just completely dismiss ELO Hell because specifically overcome the BS of ranked, that entire thing is true. There's a lot of BS in ranked that you have to deal with. Toxicity, smurfs, the fact that you are only one person in 4 other teammates that all have to do something to help you win, and the enemy team might just do that better. Maybe due to luck, team synergy, communication, whatever the case may be, there are some things that you cannot control about ranked. So every game you play, every single time you go in and pop off and you don't win, you're gonna feel like it's ELO Hell. But I want you to ask yourself this question: how often do you play that well and actually lose? Now, if you think you play that well all the time and still can't win, then you're actually well, or your idea of you playing really well is just not enough to climb you out of the rank you're in. And if you don't think that you play that well all the time, and it's only occasionally you play that well, then perhaps you don't do it enough and you're not consistently good enough to actually break through, because you got to keep in mind that it's the culmination of 10 games or 20 games or 40 games, not one isolated game, that decides whether or not you deserve a higher rank. Now, ultimately, you do have to eventually face this fact, and it's a rather hard truth, but it's important to understand. Every single player who has climbed from any low rank to any high rank, which many have, I've coached many that have, and I've known many that have, and I myself have, as someone who was hard stuck in a lot of ranks, or at least spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in many of the low tier ranks across both console and mouse and keyboard. Every single player who has climbed all had to overcome the BS of ranked. They all had to overcome the toxicity. They all had to overcome the smurfs. They all had to overcome bad teammates. They had to do it all. I would say, in fact, a metric for your skill is how it can be overcome and how you personally overcome these things. And it's really important for you to understand that you don't climb by avoiding these things, you climb in spite of these things. It's one of the obstacles to your climb that you individually have to do enough to overcome, and if you're not gonna climb. And one of the biggest complaints I get all the time, no matter what rank they're in, is they say, I have bad teammates, and there's no way I could possibly do enough to carry all these bad teammates. I get AFKers, I get people that throw, I get people that don't understand left from right. How do I win? And the reality of this is, you don't deserve good teammates until you can carry the bad ones. If you can't carry your bad teammates, and you can't win, in spite of all the BS of ranked, you don't deserve a higher rank, because the people that are in the higher ranks, they did exactly what I'm talking about. They did exactly what I'm saying here. Now, this leads me to the last thing, and probably the most important. What can you do to escape your own ELO Hell? How do you get out? Well, the first thing, and it's the hardest one, it's self-accountability. Oftentimes, the people that believe in ELO Hell very, very strongly are the people that are stuck the most. And you might be saying, no, they're believing in ELO Hell because they've been stuck so long, it's not the other way around. But that's not what I see. When I talk to someone that strongly believes in ELO Hell, they believe that they can't do anything in spite of what their teammates are doing. They believe they're already doing enough to deserve a higher rank. They believe that if all these other factors were removed, they would be in a much higher rank. And while some of that actually might be true, the problem is if you don't take self-accountability, you will stop improving. If you don't think I can do better, then what are you doing to improve your own skill? If you think my mechanics are good enough, you're not aim training. If you think I'm always making the right decision, then you're never evaluating if you could have made a better one. Understand that belief in ELO Hell, putting all the blame on your teammates, is belief that you yourself couldn't have done things better to change the outcome. And that is what you need to believe super strongly if you want to climb to Masters, Grandmaster, Top 500. You have to believe this. You have to. Now, that being said, there are some anomalies, and if you believe that you are someone that deserves a higher rank and you are one of these anomalies, I want a replay code, your hero, in-game name, current rank, and the reason you think you deserve a higher rank in the comments down below. And we're going to do some executive reporting on whether or not ELO Hell is actually more real than you think. But anyways, thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you next time.